DK Metcalf is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he will be the greatest acquisition in Pittsburgh Steeler history. Yesterday was a huge day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is one of the biggest trades in their history. Jerome Bettis, Kevin Green, Minkah Fitzpatrick. This has the potential to be the greatest trade that the Steelers ever made. I predict, and I love those players, especially Kevin Green. I'm a defensive guy. I love Kevin Green. I love Minkah, Jerome Bettis. But I believe, and it pains me to say it because I'm not a big fan of offensive players these days, but this is the type of player that changes a franchise. A physical smash mouth player at the wide receiver position. And everybody's going to talk about his catches and going up for contested balls, and rightly so. He's the best in the league at it. He's 6'4", he's 240 pounds, he runs a 4.3 40, but the best thing that he does is block on the perimeter. He puts fear in defenses. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers need. The Baltimore Ravens, I don't even want to mention their name. They brought in Derrick Henry to put fear in defenses, and it worked. He's a gigantic physical running back. And what Derrick Henry is to the running back position, we now have that as the wide receiver position with DK Metcalf. Probably even more. I would say that DK Metcalf is probably even more physical than Derrick Henry when you compare position to position. If you took Hines Ward, Randy Moss, Tyreek Hill, and made them have a baby, DK Metcalf is the love child of that baby. That's what you would have. This is what the Pittsburgh Steelers got yesterday in their trade. An outstanding trade. And now we keep hearing that the Steelers are going after Sam Darnold. And if Sam turns down the contract, I want Steelers fans to remember one thing. Because from my perspective, this is definitely the right moves. I kept saying from day one, let George Pickens walk. Give the money you're supposed to give to George Pickens to DK Metcalf. Get a receiver in the draft. Go after Sam Darnold. You need Sam Darnold. You need a guy that can throw the ball 40 times a game, pump it down the field, big-time arm, pocket passer, Dan Marino type quarterback. And from all reports, this is what we're hearing. We're hearing that, obviously, we know that the Steelers got DK Metcalf. Great move. Now the Steelers are being super aggressive trying to get Sam Darnold. And let's just say they get Sam Darnold, or if they don't get him, and the season comes and it doesn't pan out, meaning we didn't win the Super Bowl. Remember one thing, Steelers fans. Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, Art Rooney, and the Steelers did everything right during free agency to get the right players that you need to turn it around. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Now, I don't want to be negative, even putting that out into the universe. But the Steelers right now are doing everything, are making all the right decisions to bring in the best players to their organization. It's been reported that the Steelers were super aggressive to sign DK Metcalf, didn't even give other teams a chance to get their hands on him. That's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. And I want to hear the same type of temperament to bring Sam Darnold into the fold. Now, where does this leave George Pickens? A lot of people keep saying, well, he's definitely not going to get the big deal now. He's going to get a 1-year deal, a franchise tag, and I think this is a mistake. I really do. I believe you need to keep the ship sailing in the right direction. Get rid of George Pickens. Get your second-round draft pick back. Get a first-round. You can get the pick back if you get rid of George. This is why I want to say goodbye to George. You know, he's very emotional all the time. He's super unstable. Whatever way the ocean is blowing, that's the way George temperament is. When the dust finally settles, you know, him getting off social media and him really having time to think about this, he's going to start, we've seen this with George Pickens. He's going to start thinking to himself, wait a minute. They gave him the big money? They didn't give me the big money? They want to give me a 1-year deal and then ship me out of here? F them. And then all he is going to do is cause trouble. This isn't going to make the situation with George Pickens better. All these ES so-called analysts, oh, it's going to make the situation better. A professional, it doesn't matter who you put next to George Pickens. This is who he is. He's not a professional person. He doesn't take his craft seriously whatsoever. Because guess what? If George was doing everything he could to be the best teammate possible, he would have got this money instead of DK Metcalf. Stick to the plan. Go wide receiver round 1. Ibuka, Ohio State. And the reason why I'm pushing for this is this. You have Ibuka and DK Metcalf on the outside. They're super physical players that like to block. It automatically makes your running game better. Obviously, our offensive line needs to improve. They're all rookies. They're going to improve. They're going to get better. Troy Fontenato missed a whole season with a knee injury. Supposedly last August coming out of camp, he was the best offensive lineman, hands down. With these two types of players on the perimeter, we get more yards per carry in the run game. George Pickens is not going to hold up his end of the bargain if he's not getting the ball thrown to him. If you say, George, on this play, we need you to block downfield. He does not block for anybody. He walks off the field. He literally walks off the field. What are we talking about? The quarterback throws an interception. He walks off the field. They ask him to block. He literally walks away from the guy he's supposed to block. Am I making it up? Tell me I'm making it up. Comment section. Let me know what part I'm making up. Say goodbye. We gave the Seahawks a second-round draft pick. We could take George, shop him around. We can get a second and a third back. Stick to the plan. Round 1, receiver. Round 2, quarterback. Round 3 and 4, defensive lineman, and then you go from there. Stick to the plan. What this also does for the Pittsburgh Steelers is this. Quarterbacks that had no desire to play in Pittsburgh, because you can't count on George Pickens. Do you think somebody like Sam Darnold, if the Pittsburgh Steelers called Sam Darnold and said, we got George Pickens, he probably hangs up the phone and laughs. Like, I can't count on that guy to make me better or be there for the team. It's obvious that's not his track record. But when you call Sam Darnold and you say, we got DK Metcalf, that's a whole different ballgame. The best receiver in the league, hands down. The biggest, most physical, fearless receiver in the league. You know, 6'4", 240, 4'3", 440 type receiver that blocks. He could be triple teamed in coverage. You could still throw the ball up to him, and he'll go up there and fight for it and bring it down. It opens the whole market up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It makes quarterbacks want to play for the Steelers. I'm so tired of hearing about talent. Oh, he's talented. It's such a lame-o word. It's such a lame word in the NFL. Everybody is talented in the NFL. The third-string backup that brings out Woodard to the players, who's an All-American in high school, is talented. It's not talent that makes you a supreme, superior player in the NFL. Everybody's got the talent. It's everything else that goes into it. Your work ethic, your attitude, your competitiveness, your desire to learn your offense or defense, your desire to win. Everything, it gets thrown into a blender, you mix it up, and you get what you get. So we got a guy, George Pickens, that has this alleged talent, but he's missing all the other intangibles. That's not going to work in the NFL. I predict when George Pickens leaves the Steelers, he'll be out of the league in a year or two. Did I want it to come to this? Absolutely not. No, I wanted him to be the best for the longest time. And week in and week out, he's proved that he has his mind on other things. It's time to say goodbye to George Pickens. Bring in Ibuka in the first round. Stick to the plan, Pittsburgh Steelers. Art Rooney, we know he is not the type of player that the Steelers want in the locker room. Even his teammates, there's bickering and arguing because the guy doesn't show up for practice or he's 3 days late to a game. It's ridiculous. It's time to say goodbye and bring in the right type of players, not only physically, but mentally.